All right. Yes. Welcome back. This is A RAP Critic. I'm your host, Malik 16, founder, creator of Critics and Crazy. Here we are. And no, you ain't wetting me, but I got not one, but two special guests. Because we gotta do it big. This is the second episode where we're covering the classic from 1996. We're rounding out the 25th anniversary of Soul on Ice by Ras Kass. Definite classic. The question is, how classic is this classic? And so, to help really analyze this, I got two pros with me. Y'all should know Ardamus from episode 17, part 1. I got another special guest. Man, if you know hip hop, if you know the scene, if you know your history, then you know this man's name rings on multiple avenues and multiple dimensions of the culture. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Who you be?
Oh man, I'm DJ Ready Cee, man. I'm just honored to be here, glad to see you, we've been rocking for a while, man, and I'm just here to see everything grow, man. Glad to be here with you, man. Pleasure to meet my man Ardamus.
Peace.
And just looking forward to seeing how this goes tonight,
Cool. He's being modest. Ready Cee, you wouldn't happen to be a Libra too, would you?
Nah, not at all, man. I'm a Leo, man. I'm a Leo.
A Leo. So that nature's gonna come out soon. We got a running joke here because me and Artemis are Libra.
Yeah.
We introduce each other.
Always
We
quiet
both
before
act
they
shy.
attack.
Libra gang,
DJ
scale
Ready
gang.
Cee is a monster. He's DJ for some of your favorite rappers. He has his own ongoing series. Just closed out his own radio show and opened a podcast with a crew of cool people called, what's the name of the podcast, sir?
The thing we're doing right now, we're doing Comic Book Trap House, here
wow.
on StreamYard. I'm usually always over the place with some hip-hop rap shit, but I'm embracing my real nerd shit right now, our geek culture, and it's always been a marriage of hip-hop and that type of shit anyway, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's not any classic hip-hop album that you can listen to that doesn't have some type of geek culture reference or some comic book character reference in it, you know what I'm saying? And so, we're embracing that whole thing for the new generation and for the old, mainly.
Right. The Marvel movies
like
made it cool for all the nerds to come out the woodwork. I remember Last Emperor had a song called Secret Wars where he was doing all the rap cadences and putting the rappers versus comic book characters. And he was like the lone person doing that. That was like a special thing. Now, everybody can live in their nerd. I was going to ask you about comic book trap houses. Anybody have to? Do y'all only interview comic book creators?
No, we're open to everything, man. We're just about just making it comfortable for people like us to sit back and lounge in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like almost taboo to be into that nerd type of shit in the hood. Motherfuckers like to act like you some kind of outcast or some weirdo because you like geek shit, but it's not true, because it's not anybody that you can look at out there that's not down with that whole shit. We just make it comfortable for people to be open about that part of their lives, enjoy the culture.
Well, with that said, sign me up. I'm trying to be a guest. So
anytime, man. Anytime. Yeah. You were telling me you're an X-Men pro, man. So you need that over there.
Yeah. So we'll holler.
Come school them.
We'll rap about that. And if y'all are watching, like and subscribe to this channel, like and subscribe to Comic Book Trap House, and of course you gotta like and subscribe to Ardamus' page. Plug that with the links in the last episode. We had a 2-word video, so we'll drop some more of that because Ardamus, the album just dropped.
That just dropped. Thanks. See, and I forgot. Actually, on my podcast, I didn't even do it, man. I have a podcast with my people's Grande Lock. Myself, one of my band members, Ian Taraji, and Prowess Testament, who was an amazing lyricist and a wealth of knowledge in music. So we have a podcast where we review albums and stuff. We have guests on, so if y'all want to jump on sometime, let me know, man. We'll make that happen. But yes, I did put out an album. Insurance for Your Self-Esteem just came out December 15th. It's getting a lot of love, man. I put out some golden tapes for it. People have been buying them, cassette tapes, CDs, of course, it's like everywhere. And I pressed up some vinyl for the EP that was like the precursor for it, my Unassured Ego. So I got all that on deck and more albums and stash in the catalog, and got some more stuff coming out next year I'm working on already. So
Salute to that, man. You put out your album on December 15th, and I celebrated the 6-year anniversary of my last album on December 16th. Oh, the 15th, that is. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope.
Yeah, it's crazy. I saw you post the cover work for that. A lot of history between these two guests I have. It's a lot of hip hoppers.
Big up to that.
Catch up, and if you're new to it, be new, but catch up.
Best of luck on your album, right, brother.
So with no further ado, we're gonna jump into it. This is category 2, where we go over the rap performance on the album. And yes, the album that we're talking about is Soul on Ice by Ras Kass. I might have failed to mention that DJ Ready Cee are you still the official DJ for Ras Kass, or?
Oh no, I mean official. No, I've never been his official DJ. You know what I'm saying? When he's out here on the on the East Coast, or when we're doing circuits like through some back in the festival days. You know what I'm saying? Rolling through A3C, we've done our own tours. I've DJed with Ras Kass on stage just unsurmountable amount of times. You know what I'm saying? The It's a Live tour that we did back in 2015. With Sean Price when we were with the Grown Man Rap tour. It goes on and on. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a marriage of family. Because we got when you look at the JMO gang with Ras Kass, El Gant, J57. You know, Gant's been my artist for years. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, word.
But that's family. We just came through, put everything together, and that shit just melded. So it's more of just like fam shit, when I'm DJing with Raz, than official DJ type shit. You know what I'm saying? I just be out there rocking with him.
That's fam. Shout out
to what's crazy?
Fat Beats from back in the day. Shout out to Fat Beats.
I was
Shout out to J57, Soul Con, whole ground bag, all stars. That's how I met Ready Cee. Ready Cee supplied me with the plates and crates flyers for years. I come there to meet him in the wild.
Right there in Times Square, you know what I'm saying? Run right downstairs all the time, every trip.
I don't know how many jobs, how many careers you got. As I said, so many hats, bro.
No doubt, man. We gotta do everything we can to, keep this shit afloat.
Word. We go into the first dimension in category 2, which is the personality and charisma. So that begs the question on this album: how much personality and charisma did Ras Kass display? I'd argue that there's like 80% personality on here. That like Ras was, the biggest part of the product. We mentioned in the first video that, you could tell he kind of knew how he wanted to come in. He wanted to be like in wrestling, you got the heels, or, I use the word jerk, no disrespect, but like, I think he knew he was going to ruffle feathers. And so every song on here has lines where it's like, oh my God, did he really say that? And he was coming for it. He's coming with that edge and that kind of direction. And so we'll talk about it in other dimensions, but I think everything down to the way he used his voice was to show his personality. He's like, look, I'm bold and I can back it up with intellect and some idealism. So I think personality is huge on this album. What about you, Ardamus? What do you think?
Oh, definitely with you. I do agree with you about like that personality part, because like that If Then joint where he was just like murderous verses. Motherfuckers wouldn't even make it to the chorus. They'll find you and your bitch buried in the Los Angeles National Forest. I heard those words, I was like, man, I'm young and I'm thinking, dang, how can I even write that? Like, I don't even have the voice to do it, the personality to do it. I was like, how did he think of something that crazy? in a track like this. And I used to just, I don't know, those kind of like approaches to rapping was very, very instrumental in me thinking like you can be witty, sarcastic, smart, and just like hard hitting with your verses, but you just gotta know how to package it all in together, right? You dig? So that used to catch me off guard whenever I'd hear like bars from him like that on the album.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you put in the words witty and sarcasm. There's humor too. Like his humor is biting. You got to be ready for the humor, but like you can tell he wants to show that human side with humor because in between the songs, the little skits, there's the part right before Marinating where they're talking about the chick that is doing sexual acts for Jack in the Box cheesecake, and he's like passing gas. It's about that's human, and he's singing to Michael Jackson. But then my favorite skit is right after Sunset, where his boy is talking. He's
yo, I always wanted to ask him about that.
Yo, that makes me crack up every time. And then there's like a real genuine moment where he's like talking to his boy on the phone. He's about getting into a fight. Somebody stomped on the CD. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna work out, man. Next time I'm gonna take off."
He's talking to Organized Confusion.
What'd you say?
He was talking to Organized Confusion. He was he was on the phone with I'm pretty sure that was Organized Confusion. He was on the phone with Prince Poe and Munch, and they were talking about doing some joints together. Because I want to say they wound up doing something together later on, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Organized Confusion.
That's crazy. I think I heard about that vaguely in the 90s. Ready Cee, you ever heard about that?
Nah, I'm not familiar with that whole thing right there, man. I can't say. That's
that was a funny skit. He was like, "You almost stepped on my CD, man." Like, I'm like,
yeah.
And so this legitimate, display of his personality all throughout the album, even when he's not rapping. But I think on the rapping songs, he lets you know there's talking lines in between nature of the threat. So while he's dropping all this knowledge, there's lines like when he's like, Julius Caesar was known as every woman's husband and every man's wife.
Yeah.
So, personalities all throughout. On a scale of 1 to 5, how much you giving the personality display on your audience?
Oh, 5.
5?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Ready Cee, how about you?
Yeah, I give it a 5 because it's all true. That's really how that dude is. You know what I'm saying? All the time.
Word.
Truth, 5.
And that's something for y'all to consider on a scale from 1 to 5. Obviously, your rankings in the comments. But the second dimension is where we talk about the believability, the suspension of disbelief or the believability. So we can cancel out suspension of disbelief because Ras is not going into a character. He's not asking you to take a trip through some fictional thing. He's telling you, yo, I'm John Austin. He says his name on multiple songs. He's saying this is Ras. So the question is, how much do we believe him on this album? He gets super expository. I talk about my favorite song on the album, The Evil That Men Do. He's really just giving you his whole autobiography from the moment he was born to like his adolescence to right before, getting ready to release this album. I think, we'll talk more about the content of that song, but I think because you get stuff like that, you understand you're dealing with the man, and the whole album is supposed to be themed off of duality and feeling conflicted, and you hear that. You hear that on songs like Realism, you hear that on Soul on Ice, and I don't think Ras goes too far out of whatever lane he's trying to carve for himself. If he's trying to be a jerk rapper, cool. He never once steps into like gangsterism, and he's not quite backpack because he's not coming with this nerdy stuff. I think Ardamus was brought up in episode 1. He's a Cali dude. He just wanted to kick it, go to the kickback, drink, have sex, smoke, but still let you know, look, I got education and I spit. So I don't know how much did y'all believe Ras. And Ready Cee is he's got inside information, so of course. You know if it's believable.
I mean, it's he like you said, he wasn't trying to build any kind of character on there or like come with a weird voice or nothing like that, or it wasn't any kind of fabrication to it. He just everything that he was talking, whether you actually agree with him or not, as far as believability goes, that's up to you. But it's coming true from him. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely the shit that he believes in, and what he still stands by. All men grow, as time progresses and things like that. So he's not the same man today as he was yesterday, but that's definitely, everyone grows from who they were. You know what I'm saying? And it's definitely something to believe in. He believes in himself, so you can believe in what he's saying, whether or not you agree with the facts that he's spitting.
Right.
You can agree that this person isn't coming from a place of falsehood. He truly believes in what he's saying.
Right. I agree with that. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I looked at it like, I believe in his fact that, he wants to stay sharp, slick whenever you see him in his presentation. But yet, you see him whenever he's rapping, he's writing or whatever, he's really giving you himself. I mean, even that Men Dude caught me off guard, because that was the one song I was just like, dang, really? You went through all that? Like, and I was kind of like, I mean, I don't know. It's like the end of the song kind of had me kind of question, like, where does he go from here? I mean, okay, he's obviously all right. You see, he got this label deal. He's making moves. So you guess he's doing better than his other situation. But that used to like really hit home for me, because I'm listening to it like the first verse, he's going through a complication with just like being black as a youth, And then like, he's second verse, he's growing up. He's getting into this shit, And it's just it just kind of made me wonder. I had questions in that too. It's like, dang, where did he find the time to start getting nice with the raps? You know what I'm saying? Where did he find the time to just like do this and do that? Like, how does that fit in with the story? And it made me believe him, because I'm just like, that's some crazy shit to go through when he was telling us. And yeah, I mean, I never once not believe him. It's just, the way he's putting it and presenting it, it does make you like further want to know other stuff, like details. So that was what it was for me as a youngin', because I was like, manslaughter, you got arrested, like, all that drunk driving. I was just like, whoa, that's a lot, bro. So
in the intro, when I first launched the channel, I was breaking down what exposition is about, and we talk about great artists. So you have like a Drake type rapper that gives you nothing but their inner thoughts and feelings all the time, and nothing else. And then you get like a Jada that gives you nothing but their thoughts on outside things, and they don't give you a lot of them. And I think Ras is in the middle. He's that balance, because he's not gonna come out and have that much bravado without giving you those vulnerable moments. And it's those vulnerable moments that make that balance feel like the realism conversation. That's him conversing with himself. Like, damn, do I try to appease to the core audience, or deal with these labels and try to be mainstream? Then, moments on like the Order Out of Chaos, and he's talking about, what does it get me? I got a phone, I got a Swiss watch, but am I happy? Am I free? And then, of course, Evil and Men Do. And even on Drama, or me and you were talking about the line where he's like, look, I tried you and not too wide, but why? Because when I was lacking, women made me want to roll over and die. So it's like he's explaining why he's coming out as a jerk. Because he's like, look, this is what I've been through. So I feel like when artists do that, it's the mark, what they say, it's the mark of a good artist. When they give you that honesty, but they also give you that, scale of 1 to 5, what y'all giving Ras on the believability on this album?
Definitely 5. Yeah.
All right, that's something for y'all to consider at home. How believable was Ras on this album?
It's authentic.
Heartbeats. That takes us to dimension 3. So where we get into it, the delivery and the use of voice. So this is different from the flow. We'll have a flow conversation after this, because delivery is all about that projection. What voice was Ras bringing to the game? I think for one, that Cali accent is strong. You know, in the 90s, we had a few Cali accents that were like super distinct. You had MC8, you had Ice Cube when he first came out with that snarl to his voice. Mac 10, who had the twang.
Mac 10, definitely.
Ras is the first time I think we're hearing what we traditionally, I think Ready Cee said, which is more like we traditionally associate with East Coast rapping, but with that West Coast accent. And it's like, what is this?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Ready Cee. My bad. Go ahead.
No, Sid. Yeah, I agree. You know, he had just a little bit more physicality to his flow. You're talking about a time when we're deep into we're not too deep, but we're pretty good into the freshness of the Wu-Tang world out here, and we're very good into the Dog Pound world out there. You know what I'm saying? And all of that is just beloved. And Ras Kass kind of bridged a little bit more of a gap between that. You know what I'm saying? Like with the how he got physical on the mic, it just had that edge to it that kind of got over a little bit more from a East Coast ear. You know what I'm saying?
I love you use the word physical because he was projecting like a mug, even though like the calm songs, the way he uses his voice, he's pushing those words out.
Right.
It's not just this laid back. I think we were used to like California rap. You know, I say we, I mean the world, the global audience, especially East Coast audience, because East Coast, everyone assumed was the dominant listening decision makers back in the 90s until this point in the turn. But yeah, California rappers were mostly coming with a laid back style. He was pushing his vocals out.
Right. Yeah. And also, I mean, you know that we're just talking about, you know, a studio recorded album where you know all that kind of stuff can be affected through the mix. But as somebody who's DJ for Ras Kass Live, plenty of times I tell you the brother knows how to project. You know, I mean, in hip hop performances, everybody knows all kinds of bumps and bruises that we can go through live on stage with microphones fucking up or, you know, something not going on right with the mix. I've never been in a situation where even with a bad microphone, the crowd couldn't hear Ras. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to compensate. So projection is not only present in his recorded music, but live as well.
Right. I think I've seen him. I want to say I saw a live show of him at the Airliner years ago. And I think you might know what show I'm talking about. He did a show there. And
I might have done that one.
You might have done that one?
He
did a show there.
Me and Lil Bron,
he didn't miss a step, and he doesn't. You know what? And I guess this is going to tie in the flow. I feel like that's going to be the next one coming up, because with his voice, he's not going to be overly animated, because I feel like he already knows that his focus is going to be on those bars and like projecting well enough out there. I never got a strong Cali accent from him. I think it's because his voice was so original to me. I was just kind of like, I really didn't know where he was from at first. Like I was just like, I couldn't really pick it up. And until he started out, he started out C. Arson. I'm like, what's C. Arson? I was like, Arson California. Oh, I see. And yeah, I always thought he was just he utilized his voice well. I mean, we'll talk about flow in a minute. I almost talked about that because I feel like his flow and voice combine in a very crazy way. Some people don't even use their natural voices in the best way when they rap, and they don't know what to do with it. I feel like Ras, he kind of figured out something like after a while.
You were saying, you know, he was using this regular voice, and I think that kind of goes with this idea that, yo, I'm a regular dude. Like he was in the middle, and he wanted y'all to know he's in the middle. I'm not wearing a backpack. I'm not trying to be grimy. I'm trying to be fly, but I'm also not trying to do the super commercial thing. And I go back to another point we made in video one, Ardamus, when you were like, you didn't know KRS was his influence. And this is why I say I can tell right away because he does the word emphasis thing that KRS would do. If KRS really wants you to hear a word, he's gonna say, "You're not doing hip hop," you know. So Ras would do that. So like there's certain words where he like on etc. when he's like something with every rapper that I deem credible now becomes edible. Like he'll emphasize words he wants you to know. From the way he starts a song to the way he ends. So when he's using you knew the game and you still ended up on the back, he says that hard on purpose. Or let freedom ring with a buckshot. He comes in. He knows what he's doing with his voice. He knows when he's gonna project. He knows when he's gonna like mellow it down. And then he gets playful every now and then, like when he's like, they never tell you about the breaker islands like Jamaica. Like he gets playful with it. He respects the voice as an instrument, but I think part of knowing that you're coming in and causing a ruckus and you're disrupting the game, you gotta have a disruptive voice. You can't just be like, only one who's gotten away with that is Nas, who's gotten away with a calm flow and still been a disruptor. Ras was a disruptor with a boisterous, like Ready Cee said, physical tone. So something for y'all to consider on a scale from 1 to 5 heartbeats, the voice, the delivery, the way the voice is used. What you giving this Ardamus on a scale of 1 to 5?
5, because nobody has his voice.
Got you. Ready
Nobody
Cee?
has that voice.
Unbiteable.
This might be our first 5s across the board.
If you're unbiteable, you get a 5.
Alright, so then we go to dimension 4. That's really everybody's favorite, the flow. So, Ardamus, you can start this off because I don't even know how to describe the flow.
So I've been trying to figure this out for not with just him, but in general, a flow. You gotta there's a certain kind of like there's something with the voice, and then what you do over the beat is always going to help you out with rapping. So like, for example, with Ras, right? He doesn't have like a high-pitched voice. He doesn't have like an extra deep voice, but he has like a mid-tone voice. So like, for some reason, he's able to just like, on a 4/4 beat, I say, he can hit in between the kicks and the snares of a drum very, very nicely. And it's like, and that's tough to do, man. Like if you know how to place your punchlines and all that, what you want to do, like syllable work and everything, you're gonna really work on like messing with the beat. It took me a while to really understand that. Like back when we was at Howard, reason why I was kind of writing a lot was because I was trying to figure out how that stuff worked, and I really didn't understand the mechanics of rhyming like that. I feel like Ras is like the one person I listened to. I was just like, how was he rapping like this over these beats? I was like, it's not how many words he's using. And it's definitely the content is there. He's not using a whole lot of words. He's not using a lot of less words. It's just right there where he can get his point across and he can hit the pocket of the beat well enough. And I used to like puzzle me because I was just like, how is he able to do that? And I realized his voice isn't extra deep or extra high pitched. It's like a perfect kind of thing for that to connect with his flow. So I don't know. I've really been paying attention to that because I pay attention to that with like other people I know that they can rap that way, like a Royce da 5'9" or even an Elzai or a Vakil, like all these guys that can do that kind of like I almost want to say unorthodox way of rapping to a point where it's like it's on beat. You think it's off beat, it's not off beat. It's actually like hitting the beat in different pockets. So that was the thing I picked up from Ras Kass a lot.
One thing I noticed when he's got a super duper point to make, he packs a lot of words into the flow. It's like on earth as it is in heaven, nature is great, even drama, but etc. The words, there's like this hurried kind of stacking or smushing. I think this is more smushing than stacking.
Really?
He'll really run the words, but never off beat. Catches them right where it's like running into E40 territory, but like I really want to get this point out. So it's a lot of words.
There's like a certain kind of clarity to it too.
Yeah,
Like I feel like
he knows
yeah,
how to
go ahead.
rhyme on beat. You know, and that, like just attesting to what you're saying. You know, he listens to more than just the kick and the snare and the 1 and the 2 and the 3, 4. You
Yeah,
know, he'll listen to every fucking hat and find timing from there. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, his voice, like Ardamus was saying, it's a mid-tone, you know, like saying when you're building beats, you got your basses and your highs, and you need that something, you know, in the middle to kind of, you know, tie everything together.
I feel like him and Mach share that too. Actually,
very
him
good
and Mach,
comparison.
like on the West Coast. I mean, you got guys like Dub C. You might have somebody like Bus Driver or somebody like AC Alone, and those guys can rap all kinds of different, like Crazy would be a Volume 10. They're like very, very wild, sugar free, but like Ras, for some reason, he's just like this. It's a weird anomaly of somebody who can just do that, and it's never off beat. It's like I've been listening to him for years, and I've heard him do it so many times, and I'm thinking, dang, was that off beat? No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Right.
It
never.
Every time.
If you're musically in tune, you know, just like what Ready Cee was saying, it's never off. But he goes right to the edge of it. He likes to play with the fire. Like there's a line on Nature the Threat where he says something about something you think you're a such and such and such, and you're a such 3/5 of a man and a good nigga. Like he has it right.
Yeah, he rhymes ahead of the beat. You know what I'm saying? You know, the beat got to catch up to him sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. It ain't off.
Yeah. And so if I could compare it to anything, in New York City, we got these things called dollar cabs, which they're not Ubers and they're not taxis. They're usually
safe.
Driven by our West African and Caribbean immigrants who come here, and they will get you. You rarely hear of a dollar cab accident. You might hear of a dollar cab fight. Somebody came out forward, but they never crash. They whip it though. And so Ras doesn't ride the beat. Ras kind of dollar cabs the beat. He will bend them corners, whip it wild.
I like that.
True. It'll get you where you need to go. By the end, you've landed there safely. So a song like Nature the Threat, you could tell he took certain pauses because the rhyming word wouldn't have landed well, and so he let like the talking part fill in the rhyme. And then etc. That's like a whole Rush song. Like he comes in rushing because he wants you to know he's killing it. Niggas know it's about that time without a schoolie D Gucci. I pop, you know, he's going in.
That's how that verse. I was trying to figure out how that verse started off again. I was like, I just remember that loop line. That loop line used to kill me. I'm like,
right. But then you get a smoother song like, Soul on Ice. He's right in pocket. He wants that to be a more spaced out song. Anything goes. More spaced out traditional cadence and flow pattern, rhyme structure. But like I said, when it seems like there's songs where he has a point he wants to prove and he really has a lot to unpack, he's packing those syllables. It's complex, compound structures with switch ups. That's the other thing. It's not one flow for a whole verse. He's not lazy with it. There's like 4 flows per verse.
He did that in Miami Life. Now that you say that, I never really realized that. I think that's why I like that song so much. I'm watching Rockets and Studs and Crockett and Tubbs and how little rumbling in my top, despite how school be high. Yo.
And going back to what you were saying earlier, how you didn't really couldn't pinpoint, just from how he flowed, where he necessarily was from. He always said that, because of that song Miami Life and how it kind of blew up a little something, a lot of people thought he was from Miami.
Right.
And
I did too.
Stuck with him for a while.
Yeah. And if, man, depending on what you heard first from Ras, I can see how your opinion would be wild. Because like Marinated, we were talking in the last episode about Marinated. That song that could have been any California rapper at the time, their song. Because he's not going hard, he's not doing anything super duper lyrical, but everything is focused. He's very focused. But then if you heard On Earth as It Is in Heaven first, you would think he's some underground, super underground East Coast rapper.
Yeah, he gave a
lot of scale from 1 to 5 heartbeats to flow, y'all.
A lot of different levels.
Flow, Ardamus.
Oh, my rating. Oh shoot, 5, bro. He is one person. I'm like, you're a natural at that, bro. You got that. So.
Yeah. And I want to say, I mean, we know they were underground rappers from the West Coast at that time who probably had similar styles, but I think going back to that personality piece, that's what separated Ras from the pack. I know people would say, yeah, AC Alone, Freestyle Fellowship, and lots of super underground rappers, but that personality is why we're talking about this album now, because he pushed above and got some commercial recognition, because it's like, man, what does that say? Which we'll talk about in the next dimension. But Ready Cee, what you giving this for flow on a scale from 1 to 5 arguments?
Flow gets a 5 again. Flow gets a 5 again. I mean,
got it.
Top tier MC.
Top tier.
Facts.
Yeah, and we're about to go into why. Dimension 5, wordplay and bar intent. This is a class on wordplay. I mean, we were talking last, I think in the Mobb Deep episode, I was talking about how Prodigy, I think a lot of Prodigy's legend is the voice. I think his voice is what carried the legend of Prodigy, because it sounded so deadpan, so serious, so painful that you really, and he used dark words, but it wasn't like he was bending the English language. Ras Kass is the English language. And some people say, oh, he felt like he was using big words, but every big word was used for a purpose. It was purposeful word use throughout the album. He's not just throwing out a big word for no reason. This man said, I'm on point like a unicorn in cuneiform. I'm like, wordplay, there's metaphor, real metaphors, not like the lazy version of metaphors that people just like to say rap. The first whole song is a metaphor. He's using, it's a themed rap. He's using nothing but biblical references to talk about what he's doing to the game. So you're getting metaphors, you're getting simile and good similes, not up and down like hydraulics. You're getting similes like, I'm gonna make UCLA like Ed O'Bannon.
Yeah. Yo.
Or I walk on skulls because I'm 2 steps ahead. Like,
yeah. I wasn't even a big sports guy, but I caught that one. I was like, I knew what that was. I was like, yeah, hold up.
And can we just pause for a minute and acknowledge the fact that Ras uses almost half of a verse using strictly words that start with the letter R or sound like they start with the letter R phonetically with W's, and then it says stuff like records, rips, and I said in the first video he used the word reverberate. Like, that is a master class, a crash course in the art of alliteration. Alliteration being a wordplay device that's not used that much, but it's brilliant when it is used, and he's used it at its highest level. Another thing he does is on that same song, etc., on the final verse, he raps a whole sentence going forward and backwards right before just ending the song and dropping the mic. Like, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about wordplay. It's more than similes and metaphors, people.
Great.
Great wordplay. He's using homonyms, synonyms. Even I'm sure he found a way to use antonyms in there and make them rhyme. And so, like, you're getting all the rhetorical devices because, again, you can tell Ras is a wordsmith. He's a student of words, student of history, like the way he manipulated words. You're not from the lost tribe of Judah, so why are you lying?
Right. Like, this is why Miami Life is one of my favorite songs, because he had like a point to prove in that song. The last verse, like the second half of the last verse, like, what the world needs is less free cheese, more white collar JLBs. These ghetto MPs stretching fools on the block for crack rock. The power brokers is getting over like unprotected. Get sex with Oprah, float like a tournament and roast parade. Sting like a beat with a course. I put my foot so deep in your ass, the water in my knee will quit show thirst. I got juice for sleep. Because I was listening to it, I was like, he just threw in a solution.
You should have had him on tonight.
Yeah, he would have liked that. I was thinking about it, I was like, he just provided a solution, but he sort of like went back into his like, you can't stop me from getting on my hustle, And it just kind of, it tripped me out with the wordplay of it, because he's not somebody who I always thought with this, who I saw just focused on the syllable, like compound syllable style of it. He'll throw that in there, but that's not his intent though. because he's taking sayings and quotes and flipping them around. Like he might even, like he'll give his own opinion on a popular quote and throw it in there. So you be like, dang, that's what he thinks about. Like when people say this certain thing, and it's kind of dope that he does that with the wordplay. But I feel like when he's trying to like say something for real, like the wordplay is there, but that context is very important. And he's making sure he drives that point home. So
that's true. He's, and a lot of his layers, come from something I was, getting back to what I was saying earlier. Ras is a true geek. You know what I'm saying? He's a comic book reading, true to the game motherfucker. I mean, he gave me a lot of Lazarus issues from this collection that I put in my stacks over here. But Ras, I compare a lot of his cadence and flow to the way graphic novels are constructed. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not only the verbal artist that's painting a picture for you with words and that wordplay, but it's like the way he, like you were saying, the way he bends and stretches those words is that's sort of an testament to his font, if you will. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about other layers, it's before the color is added. You got a regular raw sketch that's up under all of that. That is the truth and the rhythm behind the rhyme. Once you add the color, then you get the whole package. You know what I'm saying? And he very much constructs a lot of his rhymes in a way an artist does a graphic novel.
That's
man, that's one of the dopest comparisons and analogies.
All in layers.
Yeah, that sums it up, because it's like the same man that throw humor, the next line he's gonna drop hella science on you and then get back to bashing you. So like, and everything is purposely placed. So on Order Out of Chaos, he has a line where he's like, but who invaded AIDS? And he lets that sentence sit for a minute, because at first it sounds like a question, like he's saying, who invented AIDS? But he said, the World Health Organization. Like, everything is purposeful. And then we'll talk about the rest in the next dimension, but wordplay and bar intent all throughout at a super high level, at maybe the highest level. And that's something to consider on a scale from 1 to 5 heartbeats. Ardamus, what we giving this?
5.
All right, Ready Cee?
Oh, absolutely, 5 all the way. 5 all the way.
I think, man, we really looking at 5s. We halfway through Dimension 6, the punchlines, poetic wisdom, overall quotability. So one thing I was re-upping on listening to this in between the last episode and this, and I'm like, man, this is really, it's everything that Eminem did on his major debut. Right. I know a lot of people are familiar with Infinite, but I'm like, this is what people mean when they say, man, Eminem was able to be successful with the skin advantage, because there was some rappers who were doing what he was doing prior. And I think I've heard these arguments with different rappers, and I see that different rappers have done pieces of what M did, but I think the closest is Ras, with the added bonus of having like knowledge and stuff, because that's what M was lacking. M was all shock and technical rap on his debut. Ras is shock, technical rap, and knowledge. And so the same bending of syllables, the same compound structures, and the same like, man, did he say that effect is all throughout. And playfulness, because this stuff, what's that if then, where you like drops the beat just to do the beatbox for the Smooth Operator. He's like, do, I want to give it to you. Oh, like in the middle of the song, and then it gets back to being barred up. There's playfulness, there's shock, and then there's knowledge, and his punchlines are super memorable.
Right.
We've been quoting so many of his punchlines already.
Right. No doubt.
He's just a naturally funny dude too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that shit just comes off the top. You know, I mean, when you just around him, he's a very, you know, entertaining motherfucker. He knows he's just a funny cat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when his whole personality definitely gets transcended to his paper. When he's writing these rhymes, you know, is like we've already stated, he doesn't go into any kind of character. That's why it sounds so natural, because he doesn't have to put on any kind of mask to create this music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's just out there doing it. He's just putting his daily feelings on paper. You know? I mean,
he was free.
It's every day. You know, it's not like he's gonna wake up in the morning, you know, today's job is to write something serious. You know, it's just whatever is happening in life at that point is what he's gonna fuck with, and it's gonna be some dope shit. I mean, we've created a lot of stuff. I mean, we dropped a couple little samples, but I'm telling you, like some of the things that me and Raz have created that are on the horizon in the future are very evident to everything we've been talking about tonight. And we've brought out some sides of him that haven't been seen yet, and I can't wait for that to drop.
That's what's up.
Oh, that sounds exciting, yeah.
The punchlines, man, I mean, I mentioned the whole syllable, compound syllable style, because, you know, had he used it like, let's say, a Big L or Finesse, anybody that like that set that precedent, I think it would have taken a lot away from what he does as a rapper, because he's somebody that doesn't necessarily need to do that. Like he's never been the set up punchline kind of guy. He could do that, but he has a long range of where, you know, it could be a punchline and it's a setup, and then a punchline. Like he's good at like doing that with his wordplay. You know what he's trying to accomplish. And sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's smart, and sometimes it's like crazy serious. Yeah. You don't know what you're gonna get. So it was always at the time, very unpredictable. And I always liked that about Ras. And that made you want to go back and listen to it, because he was landing his punchlines like that. You're just like, oh, okay. So
it's part of the whole shockwave. It's part of coming in knowing you're saying attention grabbing stuff to keep the, you know, he amazingly got away with it without incident. Because I mean, some of the things he said was still so fresh and raw that it could have created a lot of issues. You know, easy come, easy go, like Eric Wright, and then the line about Trouble T-Roy, you know. And this is one of the few albums where the rapper doesn't rely on punchlines. I think you were saying that. He's not relying on it. They flow out as much as wordplay. So you're able to get clever use of words. He doesn't do like to that. He doesn't like it. I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna like that. They come as much as the metaphors come, and that's rare. You usually get rappers that are really good at metaphors, like Jizza, and not really good with punchlines, or rappers who are all punchlines, like Lloyd Banks, and not good with you know, the metaphors and the more like nuanced wordplay. And Ras is doing that. And then you got poetic wisdom, because man, if you don't get poetic wisdom about the things he's saying about life, on things like you know, Soul on Ice, Order Out of Chaos, Realism, and Anything Goes. Anything Goes, it sounds like it's flossy, but he's talking about the way money changes hands and how different people do different things for money. It's just, it's hella game. It's hella game on that album. And we talked about some quotables. Ras himself uses a lot of quotes. He pays homage to his influences. His Ice Cube line was for the drama hook. You knew the game and you still ended up on your back. And then the hook for Evil That Men Do is from an Ice Cube song. It's from Colorblind. It was Threat. He said, and every nigga on my block can't stop. So he's paying homage. And usually when you show that kind of respect to people that come before you, you become somebody that people quote later on, and he was. So something to consider on the scale for 1 to 5 heartbeats, the quotability. And Ardamus, what are we giving this on the scale from 1 to 5?
or 5'2". I like he's getting because it's hard to not give him fives on this stuff because he's like mastered a lot of this stuff and like you can even say low key gave you a class or a seminar with this album. I wanted to say something about I didn't think about it when you mentioned M in the conversation. I wanted to go back to that for a second. Like I do think like if I'm not mistaken, Royce even admitted to Raz that they rocked a lot with like Solo Nights. Anyway, I just wanted to say that because like I thought that was interesting because I'm pretty sure I did hear Royce tell Raz that they rocked with Solo Nights very heavy back in the day.
Yeah, that makes sense. They probably ran in a lot of the same circles around
completely.
That time too.
I can see that
for sure. I agree with you. M to me was always about like 30% Ras Kass and 70% Master Ace.
Wow.
Hey, that's actually, you know what? Because he likes Master Ace too. I always thought
he sounds exactly like Master Ace.
I was gonna say that because Master Ace kind of like developed the clarity style. Something about Master Ace's style, like from when you first heard him to now, he just mastered the whole style of just being able to get through the decades and just keep going and just showing you how to just like adapt over time to different kind of beats.
Heavy influences, man. Everybody out there, Raz is definitely a part of it.
Raz is definitely,
as far as like quotability goes, you get to 5+ on that too, because I mean, when you on stage looking at people in the front row, know every single word to every word this brother is spitting during the entire set. I would say he passes the quotability test.
Definitely.
In the last
these are 30-year-old fucking lyrics. You know what I'm saying?
In the last episode on this, Ardamus said that he was on a whole message board that was dedicated to Nature of the Threat back in the day. So like, the quotability is high just because people are still dissecting Ras lyrics. So
yeah, absolutely.
Takes us to Dimension 7, concepts. So on an album like this, conceptual material, I don't know if Ras has any like. Ras doesn't deal with abstraction a lot on here, so he's not doing anything like a rewind where he's rapping a song backwards or something. But he's giving you stuff like what we mentioned on Earth as it is in heaven, where it's a themed rap. So, it's not. It's just your ability to catch on to what he's doing. He's using biblical references to tell you how alien it is, what he represents to the game. Other conceptual stuff on here. What other concepts were on here, Ardamus?
I mean, we talked about this before, but I loved what he did with Sunset. Man, oh man, that was. I know that like the whole East-West thing was like a big deal, but conceptually, just how he was saying everything, like I don't know. I felt that, man. Even though I'm from the South, I was like, I rocked with everything he was saying. It just kind of gave a. I kind of felt like he was giving the picture of just like okay, we're not from over there in the Bronx or whatever boroughs in New York. Respect everybody up there. We got hip hop over here, and this is how we do it, And I like that, because that reps like a very, very like hard kind of a stance, like because I'm in DC and we have our own way of doing things,
Raz is a West Coast motherfucker to heart, but he did a lot of coming up here in New York, and when he's here in New York, he'll tell you he's more New York than a bunch of you motherfuckers that live right
I like
here.
that. I like that too.
Yeah,
that's dope. But
it's true. It's up, hey, I mean, he's got a lot of New York come up roots. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
He lived with Jay for a while. He knows everybody. There's a lot of history with him. And that whole comeuppance it builds a lot in your character. You know what I'm saying? And no matter where you at, you can be a part of that region.
Right.
I'm born in Chicago. I was raised between New York and Texas. I don't have a true dedication to anywhere You know what I'm saying? I love LA. I try to get the fuck out of New York as much as possible. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be
cold,
here,
bro.
but I'm a Bronx nigga. But I live in Brooklyn, so it's like everybody can, be absorbing so much from everywhere. And when you don't tie yourself down to just being this one type of motherfucker, that's where you get all this flavor from. Raz is that type of cat. He's definitely, Cali and true to heart, and that's where everything comes from. But he definitely takes parts from different regions and zones that he's been part of his life, and
I remember,
not ashamed to say it,
I remember back in this era, he was saying how he rose heavy with Helter Skelter and Jay-Z, man. But as you were talking, I just realized we're all transplants here. Ardamus from Tennessee, but been in the DMV. His rap career is mostly in the DMV. That's where his name rings the bells. From Harlem, I'm out here in Oakland.
See? That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah,
Touch
man.
you down wherever, man. Make it happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, concept-wise, though, I think you get a lot of loose conceptual stuff. He's not on this album, at least on the album afterwards. You hear songs like "Interview with a Vampire," where he's talking to God and the devil. But on this album, he wanted to be straightforward with it. Nature of the Threat is about what it's about. Miami life, maybe a little conceptual because he's not from Miami. He's trying to describe this general thing, this any hood USA kind of mentality. Anything goes. We were just talking about that. That's the song about money. But he's talking about his life in between there. I don't know if you get anything super duper conceptual.
I'm gonna have to agree. It was like a starting point for other stuff later. You want to say 5 because nature, that's so crazy.
Actually, man, now you made me think. Nature of the Threat. I guess maybe that is conceptual. Nothing like that has been done in hip hop before, except for "You Must Learn" by KRS and BDP. Yeah. And he really went through, I think, just the history of man all the way up to the transatlantic slave trade. So maybe that is a concept. And if that is considered a concept, that's all you need. That on Earth as it is in heaven. Maybe this is a high conceptual album. So
yeah, he gave me. See, Raz also kind of like made some of that X-Clan type vibe more digestible for a lot of people.
Ooh,
wow, what a good point.
And concept-wise, where a crew like X-Clan was like, you could put them into a conceptual category because there wasn't no mistaking what they were about. You know what I'm saying? But Raz his concepts came to be a little bit more after the fact, more than during. You know what I'm saying? His whole collective works kind of give you a theme of a concept after you listen to the whole thing. Whereas maybe individually you're not getting that out of each song, but you definitely come away with a different theme or feeling from each of his projects. So in that sense, there's concept.
Absolutely. Yeah, Nature of the Threat got away with none of the stigma of, like you said, those X-Clan kind of rappers where it's like black fists in the air. So yeah, something for y'all to consider on the scale of 1 to 5 heartbeats. The concepts takes us to dimension 8 and dimension 9. That's the content dimensions. External is how much is he talking about world issues, social issues, environment. Internal, how much of himself was he giving? How much internal monologue, exposition, autobiography?
We've already touched on this a lot in this conversation. There's a great balance of that. From his personal experiences, from what he went through, with his father being a policeman, and all the different trials and tribulations of growing up black, and a young brother out there in Cali, and experiencing the success of the rap world at an early age, and also, having to go through the incarceration and, all those different factors in life. Those things bred subject matter that we've already discussed and said that, come from a place of truth.
A lot of our favorite rappers give us feeling and not focus. Like, songs have a feeling, but they don't have direction. This album, every song, there was a focus. So even the party songs, even the two commercial sounding songs, anything goes. If you really listen to those verses, he's really staying on topic. He's talking about, things he wants for money, things people do for money to people he knows, and how they're locked up, and how he doesn't get to write to them because he's trying to pursue his own money mission. Marinating. I've never heard such a focused party story. He's really, from the first verse to the last verse, he's like, look, y'all can come through, we can throw a party. By the end of the song, he's like, but y'all gotta go. My boo's coming through, but let's do this again. It's so focused. He's going on the topics, we talk realism. He's talking about his inner struggle with the industry. Ardamus, I was saying a second ago, that song was almost like a precursor to like all his major label drama throughout his career. He was talking about,
I agree.
This is making me go out of my mind. Who do I please? Why am I getting all this love and respect now? Where was this love and respect when I was on my grind? I'm still not getting paid. I think he says Sade's name funny. He said F Luther and Sadie for taking money for my baby or something. That's not clear. Because remember, we were talking about, he had that song Understandingly Smooth. No, maybe I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I thought he had a song called Won't Catch Me Running. That's the one with the Sade sample. And so he's just talking about his struggle of just, am I underground in my backpack, am I commercial, or am I somewhere in between, and what does that mean for my success? And that's him being vulnerable. That's that inner monologue, same way Evil That Men Do, same way that Order and Chaos. Whereas Nature the Threat, that's external. He's not in this picture. He's school yard.
That's true. He definitely gave you just observational takes of his own life and just like the world outside of him. And I feel like, you learning from somebody who intelligently gives you those viewpoints is very important. Like I can say from the generational hip hop we came up on, I feel like it still happens. But like with somebody like Ras, that was very important for that album. I mean, it reflects back to the whole title anyway, with, based on Eldridge Cleaver's like novel, you dig? And if you know anything about him, like he went through it, and like for Ras to have this internal and external like dialogue on the album and like come forward with it and name the album that, it definitely gave you a balance of what he wanted to put out there internally, externally. So yeah, I can't say too much more because you guys like hit it on the head, everything else you said, but that's what I took from it, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, this album is a content monster. Just Nature the Threat alone just ends the conversation. It's up to y'all. Scale from 1 to 5 heartbeats. What we giving this on internal and external content? So for dimensions 8 and 9, scale of 1 to 5, Ardamus.
Oh, 5.
5.
Even like
see?
Yeah. 2 5.
5.
Yeah, 2 5s.
All right. Final dimension 10, storytelling. The old school rule has always been you can tell a good rapper or a good rap album by the ability to tell a good story on it. Is there good storytelling on this album?
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah.
Shit, going right back there to what I was saying about how he constructs his stuff like graphic novels, you know what I'm saying? There's not only are the artists and sketchers and colorists and letterers, but there are writers that have to bring those words to life. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. The artists have to bring the written word to life visually. So he definitely paints a story verbally that you can envision You know what I'm saying? And that right there is a testament to a true MC to me. When you can close your eyes and see this story being played out in your head uh, in a way that not a lot of people can do. He encompasses a lot of those qualities that we expect from MCs that we regard as legends, man. And I think his storytelling is top notch.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like we were saying earlier, he doesn't take any bars off. Like he doesn't really like waste your time on a beat, even if you might feel a certain way about the beat. He doesn't waste your time with it, especially when he's telling a story. I feel like when he does Nature a Threat, he is really giving you like all of the research he's had for years, probably learned in school. Like he's giving you literally a story of like human society, and it's crazy that it's like you can go back and look it up and be like, oh wow, he's right. But then he gives a story about what he's been through in his life and men do, or sometimes it's not even a story. Sometimes it's just like an opinion piece. Like the order, I always mix this word up when I say it. The last song, I'll just say the last song. I always say it weird.
Yeah, I messed it up on the first episode too.
I always say it weird, but that's a very opinionated piece. I mean, I don't want to say I can't really say that's a story, but there's something there in it, There's something there in it.
He starts it off saying the story begins like a Dickens novel. He starts it off
something like that,
its narrative.
Right, and it's like it's not completely like a story, so to speak, but it's very I don't know. It's a very unique way he's telling us something in that song. Yeah, man. There's not much more I can say. He's good at that.
So he's not in the tradition of a Slick Rick or not even like a Biggie where he's telling these cinematic tales. But I think Ready Cee hit it on the nose. He pulls you in with these vivid pictures. You can see the scene. He paints the scene perfectly. Again, marinated, I feel like I'm at the kickback with Evil That Men Do. I felt like I had a glimpse into the chronology of him as a kid all the way up to as a man. And in Nature the Threat, you really feel like you're seeing, all these empires and civilizations crumble in the name of conquest and human greed and all of that. And you get it up to like recent times, or at least up into the transatlantic slave trade times, where you're like, oh, I can visualize this.
Right.
And so he does that even on songs that the song is not a full story, even on verses. So Drama, he has little parts of the verse where he tells you what he's doing, how he's talking to the woman, what he says to get with her and how he leaves her. So it's there on almost every song. He goes into these narrative parts of storytelling.
Even the songs that aren't necessarily just stories. I mean, you could come away with just like a feeling, like I see colors. You know what I'm saying? Fucking pastels of blue and sunshine, shit like that. I see a story, just in sort of the warmth that's created from that description, that descriptive way of rhyming, that's
Ready Cee, you got away with words yourself, bro.
Man, shit, it's probably just from being around these motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's just when those type of songs come on, man, you see something in your head.
So yeah, that's something to consider on a scale from 1 to 5 heartbeats. Storytelling on this album. Ardamus, what we giving storytelling on here?
5. It made you. I'll say this on the album, it made you want more from him as far as his stories, and you definitely got more from him in the future. But on that album, you just man, what else could he tell us in the form of that?
Gotcha.
So yeah, definitely 5.
Okay. Ready Cee. Ready Cee gave 5 across the board.
Wish I had like a little 5 sign I could hold up, like Best
I
in
think
show.
this is the first album
Rapper.
for this category where we've got fives across. So I really want to see what y'all say in the comments. But that concludes category 2, the ranking and reviewing of this 1996 classic by a rapper's rapper, Ras Kass. And yeah, feel free to leave y'all votes down there. I want to thank my special guest, DJ Ready Cee, man, Ardamus. Let the people know where they can find you all. What y'all got cooking next?
Man,
What?
just out here, you know, every week. Like we were talking earlier, you can catch me every Thursday here on YouTube. Comic Book Trap House. We come on 9:00 p.m. Eastern every week. We've done almost 120 consecutive episodes every week. We talk about nothing but, you know, real geek culture shit. So, you know, just come through and take your shoes off, have a drink, relax, you know. And shouts out to my man Ras Kass. It was an honor coming through talking about his records, you know, and looking forward to the future. I got a lot of shit dropping with my brother, you know, and definitely look out for some amazing heat that we already got a video for that I produced featuring Method Man. Blow the whole world down with that shit.
Nice.
Yeah, you over there dropping exclusives right there. See what happens?
No doubt.
And that's, if they're following you on social media, that's at comic book. Is it underscore?
Yeah. You can on YouTube you could just go / Comic Book Trap House. On Instagram it's Comic Book Trap House, but with an underscore under each word.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Ardamus, where can they find you at, bro? What you got cooking?
If you put in ARDAMUS in Google, you'll find me. Don't check out Ardamus.com. That's a store. You know, that's a, I don't know who they are, but you holler at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Twitter. You want to check out the music, ardamus.bandcamp.com. I'm on TikTok. I do like word of the day freestyles. Yeah. Shouts to Plates and Crates.
Lightly out there.
I know, right? Exactly.
Yo, I still need. Y'all got all this popping. I'm just over here slinging my. I used to love the t-shirts. So
that's fire though. I want.
Yeah, I was gonna mention.
Hit me up for those. Like and subscribe to the channel. As always, we're still building this global hip hop community. The beat playing in the background for this episode is produced by the one and only Ardamus. Ardamus, I need one of those gold tapes, so I'm gonna holler at you so I can order one.
Let me know, man. For sure.
And Ready Cee, please tell Raz if he checks out the episode. I'd love to have him.
He's definitely gonna watch. I'm gonna make sure he sees part 1 and part 2 for sure.
Word, tell him he ain't gotta worry about none of that. The traditional generic journalism stuff where they ask him the cliche questions. I want to know how he would rank his own album. So I love that
shit, man. He's a really
system. So on that note, y'all like and subscribe to DJ Ready Cee, Comic Book Trap House, the real Ardamus Bandcamp. Y'all like and subscribe to the channel here. And until next time, y'all know how it goes. A RAP Critic. They talk about it while I live it.